How you doing? I'm Darren with Smoked BBQ Source, and today we are talking poor man's burnt ends. Now, typical burnt ends come from the point of the brisket, and that can be pretty expensive to go ahead and buy a point or a whole brisket just to cook up some burnt ends. So a chuck roast is a great alternative to cook up some fantastic, tender, juicy poor man's burnt ends, and I'm gonna show you exactly how we're gonna be doing it today. So one thing is for sure that these poor man burnt ends are going to have you feeling rich. So let's show you how we're going to go ahead and prep these up and get them on the Kamado. We're going to be running at 250 to 275 degrees today, and they're going to be absolutely fantastic. So let's get these prepped up and get them on the Kamado.
All right, so the prep on these poor man's burnt ends is very simple. We have about a 3-pound chuck roast. I'm just going to go over a few of the ingredients we're going to be using. We're going to be using our Pitmaster's Pick, which is a nice all-purpose rub. It's gonna add a little bit of sweet heat to this. And then of course we're gonna go with our beef rub, which this is beef, so it's gonna go fantastic with that. And we're gonna be finishing these poor man's burnt ends off with our sweet barbecue sauce. Now this is about a 3-pound chuck roast, and I have my Smoke Kitchen boning knife here. Everything that you see here is gonna be available down below. There'll be a link for everything. So what we're going to do is we are just going to cube this up into about 1-inch pieces, and look how nice that knife cuts. I mean, that is beautiful. Look at that right there. So we'll just go ahead and get these into strips, and then we'll cube them up. All right, so I have them all cubed up here. They're looking good. We want to keep them all about the same size so they cook evenly. The first rub we're coming in with is the beef rub. We're just going to give a nice healthy dose of that. That's going to be our primary rub on here. And you can go pretty heavy. These are thick chunks, and they're going to be absolutely fantastic here. Just going to kind of toss these around here a little bit. Come back in, hit it some more. Don't be afraid of going too heavy on here. These are big chunks. They can handle this extra seasoning. All right, the next rub we're coming in with is the Pitmaster's Pick. Like I said, this is just a nice sweet heat, balanced rub. It's gonna provide a really nice flavor on these poor man burnt ends. All right, so now that we have these all seasoned up, I'm just gonna go ahead and transfer them to a wire rack, and this is just gonna make it easier to transport out to the cooker. We're gonna be able to space everything out evenly. If we need to rotate it all for cooking, this is just gonna make the process extremely simple. Plus, after you're done with this, it allows you to be able to touch up your rub and not have to move these again, so pretty convenient there. All right, now that I've transferred these over to the wire rack, I'm just gonna hit them one more time, take care of any touch-up spots that need from when I was handling them, and I will not have to touch these individual pieces again until this rub is set and it is time to wrap. So I'm just going to go over it with each rub one more time, get a lot of nice flavors on there, and that is looking fantastic. We are going to get these out to the Kamado, which is running between 250 and 275 degrees, and we're going to let these things get a nice bath in the hickory smoke. So I will meet you out at the Kamado. All right, so we have the Kamado running at approximately 250 degrees right now. We are going to go ahead and get our poor man burnt ends on. And like I said, super easy transport with this. Makes it really nice to just go ahead and get these right on the cooker, like so. These are looking beautiful. We're going to let these go for about an hour. We'll come back and check them, see if they need a spritz, but a couple chunks of hickory wood on there. Just gonna get a nice smoke bath. We will see you in 1 hour. All right, it has been 1 hour. We're gonna go ahead and check on these, and look at that color. These are looking absolutely fantastic. I'm just gonna come in and give them a little bit of a spritz now that the rub is set up on here. Just get a little moisture in there, keep them nice and hydrated. You can use a spritz bottle if you have one. I just like using these because then you're not spraying everything, you're just getting it on the pieces that you want. And like always, the full recipe will be linked down below to the website, and that is looking awesome. I'm gonna do this about every 30 to 45 minutes until it's time to wrap. I'll bring you back and let you know how long it's been when it's time to wrap, but I'm guessing probably about another hour. We'll be sitting at that 165 to 170. We'll get these wrapped up, get them nice and tender. All right, so it has been another hour. I went ahead and temped these there, reading at about 175 degrees internally. You can see they are looking absolutely fantastic. Now we're going to go ahead and get these wrapped up, and I'll show you that process right now. All right, so I have an aluminum pan. It's a half pan. I'm just going to go ahead and get these poor man's burnt ends in there. You can see we have wonderful color on here. We'll get all these in the pan. Next, we're going to come in with a few pads of butter. Then we're gonna come in with a little bit of that honey for the money. Just adding a little bit of sweetness to balance these savory bites out. And then the barbecue sauce at the end will add a little bit more sweetness. You can put some brown sugar in here if you like them sweeter, but I don't like my beef overly sweet. So we'll go ahead and get these wrapped up now. We'll get them right back on the pit. We're gonna set a timer for another hour, still running at that 250 to 275. We'll come back in an hour, check them for tenderness. They should be done. I'll show you how to get them sauced up, finish them up, and you'll be feeling rich with these poor man's burnt ends. All right, so it has been 1 hour. We're gonna go ahead and check these for doneness. Just gonna open these up. Look how beautiful those look. Those look absolutely fantastic. Great color on there. Just gonna take a temperature reading here. Sitting at about 209. 210, somewhere in there. So they're probing like they should be good, but we're gonna go ahead and just check right here. And they still feel a little bit tight. So I'm gonna check a couple more. This one, still a little tight. So I'm gonna let these go for about another 15 minutes. We'll come back and check them. This one's done, you can tell right here. So this is gonna be a sample one. But some of these bigger ones, we're gonna let them go for about another 15 minutes. So the temperature's looking good, but you really wanna kind of go by feel on these and make sure that they're nice and tender. So I'm gonna get these covered back up, get them in there, let them get tender, and then we'll sauce them, and there'll be time to eat. All right, so it's been another 15, 20 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and check these for doneness, and I can tell right now that these are tender as can be. If I were to squish this hard, it would just fall apart, and that is what you want out of your poor man's burnt ends. So at this point, we're gonna go ahead and get some sauce on them. And like I said, the sauce we're gonna be using today is our Smoke Kitchen Sweet Barbecue, and that's the reason why I didn't put any brown sugar in there, because there's enough sugar and everything else in this sauce that is gonna give a great flavor to these poor man's burnt ends. So I'm just gonna drizzle some on like so. And now I'm just gonna give them a quick toss so they're evenly coated with this sauce and this butter and everything else, all this goodness that was in this pan, this honey, all the renderings from the beef fat. And these are looking fantastic already. Just look at these. Oh, those are looking perfect. Just look at the color on that. I mean, absolutely fantastic. So I'm gonna get this foil off. And now at this point, these are gonna go back on the cooker for about 15, 20 minutes just to tack this sauce up and get a nice glaze on them. So I'm gonna get these back on. I'll bring you back in 15, 20 minutes and we are gonna jump in and do a taste test, and I cannot wait because they smell absolutely phenomenal. All right, guys, you can see we have our beautiful pile of poor man's burnt ends here. I can't wait to try them. It is go time. I'm gonna grab this one right here. So tender, so tacky from that sauce. Cheers. Guys, we absolutely nailed this cook today. These are fantastic. They're juicy, they're tender, they're smoky, they're sweet. They're so balanced, so delicious. I'm going in for one more. Absolutely fantastic. Guys, I'm Darren with Smoked BBQ Source. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like I said, everything I use to make these poor man's burnt ends will be in the description down below, as well as a link to the website, which has the full recipe. So until the next video, go smoke something delicious.